Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Rachel. I'm a speech language pathologist turned homeschool mom to two boys ages 5 and 3. Today we are going to be talking about the Australia unit from Beautiful Feet Books, Around the World with Picture Books, Part 1. So let's dive into it. Around the World with Picture Books Part 1 is a literature-based program to teach about cultures and geography for the kindergarten to 3rd graders. And in this specific curriculum, we are going to be talking about the Australia unit. I will flip the camera around and we will get talking about the lessons. Here is Lesson 1 and Lesson 2 from Let's Visit Australia. Lesson 1 covers the geography of Australia, and we use the maps book, which is right here. This is the maps book. When I use this maps book, what we typically do is do the continent song, and then we find Australia on the map and flip to it. It includes the flag, the capital, the language that is typically spoken along with other Aboriginal languages, and then we talk about the beautiful pictures that are in it, such as the Great Barrier Reef, Sydney, the animals and the plants and the mountain ranges, how it's an island continent, and other facts about Australia's geography. Lesson 2 is to read Mirror, which is this book, and there are discussion questions that are incorporated in this curriculum because they do have a lot of great Socratic questions. Now this is the library connection. It goes over a bunch of books that are about Australia, a bunch of picture books, and they're listed here, and then the pictures of them are here. You can get as many of these books or none of them from the library if your library has them, or you can purchase them. And this is lesson number 3. Now this lesson is supposed to be talking and discussing about Indigenous people of Australia's art specifically. I will talk about my concerns about this specific lesson a bit later and how it doesn't really go into much detail or depth or direction. But again, that might be a positive for you if you want to really tailor what you teach your children. But just me as a teacher, I like to kind of have a little more guidance. Now lesson 4 is the culture connection. Lesson 4 is a folk song, and it has some great vocabulary to build your child's literacy and also music skills. Lesson 5 is the nature connection, and it goes over the Tasmanian devil, the red kangaroo, the koala, the duck-billed platypus, and it talks a lot about marsupials. And then there are these coloring pages in the back of the book that have all the animals. There's also coloring pages for the continent of Australia and the flag of Australia. Lesson number 6 is Australian poetry connection. This is a lesson of The Man from Snowy River. Number 7 is the Australian cuisine lesson, my favorite lesson. This lesson talks a lot about different foods from this area, and I typically save the cuisine lesson for last and kind of make a big deal about preparing some Australian meals with my boys as a celebration to the end of our unit. Lesson number 8 is on Anna Pavlova, and there is a book recommendation here called Swan. Pavlova is known for touring in Australia, and Australia is the country that developed the dessert called the pavlova. So we might either try to make one of these desserts to go along with our Australian cuisine lesson, or we might try to pick one up from the store. I have talked before about how my library is a pretty rich and robust library. However, I wasn't able to pick up that many of these Australia books. I was only able to pick up 4 of them. So let's look at some of these. First we have Mirror by Janine Baker, and this book is a picture only book. There's no words, and it covers both the Australia on one side and then Morocco on the other. And then Morocco is the next country that we do in this curriculum series. Now, as a speech language pathologist, I know the benefits of wordless books. However, as a homeschool mom, part of the reason why I love books, it takes the mental load off of my brain when we are doing curriculum. I can just read the words, I can add, accents and energy and dynamics, but with wordless books, it's kind of daunting for me because I have to do a lot more mental brain work to teach the lesson and to foster the curriculum. So I understand the benefit of them. I am not a fan as a homeschool mom. The next book is Koala Lou. This is about a koala who loves being told that he is loved and cherished by his mother. As more brothers and sisters come into his family, he doesn't hear that as often because his mom is taking care of other siblings. So this is his story. The next book I was able to pick up from the library is Possum Magic, and this is about a possum, and this possum visits many different animals from Australia, including kangaroos, and I'm pretty sure I saw a snake in this one. The last book I was able to pick up from my library for this unit is Swan, and this is a story about Anna Pavlova. And yes, Anna is not from the country of Australia, but she is a beloved character in that country, and even the Pavlova dessert is named after her. So this is a story that was recommended in the series. As I was preparing to teach my boys this unit, I noticed some things that I didn't exactly quite like. Number one, there's no mention anywhere of the Great Barrier Reef, and I thought that was a topic that could really be dived into a lot deeper. Number two, on the Indigenous lesson, I think it was lesson number 3, it didn't give me any book recommendations. It didn't give me really any guide other than to talk about Indigenous art. I thought it could have gone so much deeper into the Indigenous population of Australia, talking about so many aspects, not just their art, but of their food, of their culture, of the way they live off the land, the way they survived in the outback for hundreds of years. So I think that was the second glaring, I don't want to call it an issue, but just glaring lack of from this curriculum. Now, because this curriculum was probably my least favorite curriculum, I went online and did a bit of research into how to make it a little more rich for my boys. And the first thing I'm hoping to incorporate is a little art project on the Sydney Opera House, and maybe learning a little bit about that architect and the design of it and the beauty. And it's an iconic symbol in Sydney. And I think I'm also going to dig a little deeper into the Indigenous people and also into the Great Barrier Reef. So those are kind of 3 things that I'm gonna try to include in this curriculum as I do it with my boys, just to bring a little more richness and robustness to it. Well, I think that is everything for this video on the Australia unit from Beautiful Feet Books. Wherever you are, I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I hope to see you guys real soon.